Hello and welcome to today's video. All right, looks like you guys have already been talking before I even started. My goodness. So, my chickens. My chickens are so happy to be down at the barn. Love my chickens. My rooster, he's over there. Isn't he pretty? That's Henry. Okay, so here's the game plan for today. Well, first of all, if you're new here, hey, get out of my carrots. If you're new here, my name is Brandy, and this channel is all horses and horse-related life. So this is my daily life with horses that I've been sharing, and I've been doing a live stream every day, Monday through Friday, and then I'll be uploading videos that I edit on the weekends. So, trying to keep everyone sane during this whole COVID-19 business, and it's the least I can do is try to bring some normal life stuff to everybody's world. So I'm bringing in Nakona right now, but then I'm going to go back out and get Petra. So today I'm starting a little later than I typically do, and the times are going to kind of change a little bit, but I'll try to give you guys as big of a notice as possible as to when I'll be starting. So today I think I gave you an hour heads up. So, all right, bear with me because I'll lose you a little bit now as we go in here. Come on, Nakona. Okay. Oh, today is pretty darn nice out right now. It's about 40 degrees. And, hi, Kitty. It's Lila. It's about 40 degrees and sunny, which is so nice. So I'm gonna take Nakona out here. You know what? No, I'm not. I lied. I'm gonna take her over here and tie her up. We're gonna tie today. And then we're gonna go get Petra, so you guys get to come with me. And I might bring in 2 horses. Come here. Here we go. We're gonna go out and get Petra and probably 1 more horse. I like to always bring in 3. Okay. Oh, it's snowing there and 33 degrees? What is up with that? Oh, we're supposed to get some snow. All right, I'll try to read as I'm walking here. Hi, kitty. Here comes Clover through the snow. Sinking. You silly cat. Hi, kitty, kitty. Well, come here. Come on. Come here. Hi. Well, come here. Oh, she says hi. Oh my goodness. Kitty. Hi, Missy. How you doing today? What age is good for starting horses? Like, what age should the horse be started? I have Ona, who is 4, and I'm not riding her yet. So I will be as soon as I can. But it just depends on the horse. Oh, my chickens are so happy. They're like, yay, get to hang out. So to me, it depends on not only a horse's age, but their size. How mature they are, that sort of thing. It's really important to me. Okay, I think I'm gonna bring in Petra and, sorry. I'm gonna bring in Petra and Annabelle today. Annabelle and Petra. I'm gonna check Petra and see if she is sore at all from her bites. Let's see if Annabelle is sore at all. I think I said, here, Kitty, can you get up on that? Here, get up. Get up there. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna turn you guys around so you can look at the horses and not just me. Okay. How many chickens do I have? I don't know, like 20 something. I think we got 20 some chickens. We have 1 rooster and we have 4 ducks. And here I go and make the mistake of like fussing around with this darn gate one-handed again. I don't know why I think that that's a good idea. There's Lucky. Hi, Lucky. He says, here's my good eye. I told my daughter today that she needs to get cracking with the weather warming up. She's got to come out and ride all these ponies for me. It's a good view of his missing eye. Aww. He's such a good boy. All right. Yeah, I was gonna ride Nellie today, but then I thought about it and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna ride Petra first. I'm glad. Well, I hope Petra's cleaner. Look at how dirty she is. Nellie. So maybe I'll ride Nellie in the next video. Annabelle. Blossom. Oh, Blossom. She's like, well, I kind of want to come in. Muffin's like, I want to come in. Take me. Hey, sweetheart. See if Sally runs from the camera. Hey, pretty girl. Aw, look at, she's getting used to it. That's so awesome. You'd probably like to come in soon too, hey? Sally loves to be scratched around the ears. See her lower her head and soften her eye. She's like, oh, it feels so good. She got all these big mats on her ears. She's good at that. Sally's like 12, I think. 12 or 13. Maybe she's 13. She hasn't been ridden in about 4 years. I can't wait to ride her. I think she's gonna be super cool. She doesn't clench up as much anymore when I touch her here. Aww. The cat's trying to follow me out here and Muffin's chasing her. Alright, well at least say hello. Sally's not actually mine. I treat her like she's mine though. I did not get a breeching yet. Hey BWM, I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining in. I recognize names on here and such, so I try to put my glove back on. Manser got a really good brushing last night. Hey, stinker, let go of that. Let go, let go, let go, give me that. Give me that. Get. Hey David, how you doing? I am enjoying my MacBook and it is so nice. Today I spent hours trying to figure out editing software, so I think I got that figured out. I have a mule because a client of mine asked me if I would take her to work with her, and I'll talk about her a different day. Today is not the day. Look at these two are buddies. Ona just wants to be with me all the time. She's like, please take me in and do stuff. Hi Kathy, how you doing today? Alright, and Nika's like, I'm just gonna stand here in the sun. Cinder's doing great, thanks for asking. She's just awesome. Okay, we got the minis and Petra. So now I gotta go ahead and be creative again, guys. See, I I don't prepare for this part. I got to set this down while I put the halter on Petra. So awkward. Oh gosh, you guys got to see what's happening. Oh, she's such a snuggler. I love that. I think Miss Kitty taught her a thing or two about snuggling, because Miss Kitty loved to like put her nostril right up to my face. But see right there, she just went to pull away, so I gotta hold her. And Miss Kitty lived with Ona for a while, so I think secretly she taught her that. Okay, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna set this down over here. Hopefully nobody sees it. Yeah, right. They'll have it in about 2 seconds. Yep, here comes Manzer right away. Darn it. You guys are just watching me struggle. There. Okay. Here's number 1. Come on. Now let's go get number 2. Hair in my mouth. Grab Annabelle. So we gotta do this all over again. Set it down. Hopefully nobody goes and squashes it. You know what? I'm gonna set it down outside of the gate. Yeah, Shul says that I need to get a body mount, and I think that's a great idea. I could just strap my phone to my body. It'd be so much easier. There. Okay, you guys stay there for a minute. Get. These two are busy. Oh, thank you, whoever just super chatted. I don't have any extra hands to look right now, but I certainly will. Thank you. So these two are not happy with each other. They're over here bickering. So it's a good day to work with them together since they're not necessarily getting along. We all need to get along. Hi, Bernardo. How are you doing today? Look out, chickens. Hoot owl, yes, she did. So if you go back to April 8th, I think it was the 8th. Go back to, it was Wednesday, a week ago. So check out that day. And you'll see. Now, you guys quit fighting. I got so much snow I'm trying to tromp along through here, guys. Oh. And I can't turn the camera around. So you guys are seeing me struggle. My gosh. Okay. Ta-da. I'm gonna go get some brushes. Be right back. Now, I have, for those who are just tuning in or you don't maybe know my horses so well, I got Nakona, the spotted Appaloosa here, and then Petra is this Palomino quarter horse. Annabelle is the Pinto. Back this up a little bit so maybe you can see them all. There. Now, these two might start fighting with each other. So just be aware that, so the reason I chose the horses that I did is because these three are pretty grouchy with each other all the way around. Like, look at Petra now. Now she's pinning her ears at Nakona. And so I'm gonna grab a flag to use just so I don't get myself kicked. And I'm gonna show you kind of how I expect these horses to stand and behave themselves, period. I got a cat ready to jump over here. I should have turned the camera on her, that was pretty funny. So I'm gonna grab a flag, that way I can break up a fight if I should need to and work Petra's feet. But Petra desperately needs a job today, desperately. Now, recently I was talking about flags, and hi Kitty, get here, get. We were talking about flags, and this is my all-time favorite flag. This is one of the Buck Brannaman ones, and I really like the handle on it, and it's metal, it's got a really good feel to it, so this is definitely my favorite. So that's what I'm gonna have here in case I should need it. Okay, so I'm going to get to brushing on Petra. Hello, Jay. Thanks for joining in today. So while I'm doing this, you guys, those of you who are watching in live stream, the cat is freaking out in my saddle pad. But for those of you who are watching, if at any point this is buffering at all, please let me know, because I watch this later on and I can see where about in the arena I was that it wasn't working out well. So that's really helpful to me. So every day I try to go through, right away in the morning is when I try to go through and look at comments from the day before and that kind of stuff. So it's helpful for me. Petra doesn't have much hair compared to, if you watched me brush Cinnamon yesterday, she had so much hair coming off of her. And Petra has a really fine coat. Definitely has a lot of hair coming off right now, but it's just not as thick. I'm just going to go over Annabelle pretty lightly with this. I'm going to go over Annabelle pretty lightly because she has all these marks on her. If you didn't see the video from the other day when I learned my lesson, watch that one. You'll understand why she's got marks on her. Just know that I am working through that. I'm going to find the perfect solution for that. A lot of people did give some tips and such, but I like to find what I feel works best for my herd. And having one or two horses is one thing. It's totally different than when you have an entire herd. You know, if I have 15 now. like that, how I just moved Petra over, she doesn't belong with her butt pushed up against this horse. She has plenty of her own space there. And somebody at some point is probably going to comment and be like, oh my gosh, you should never go behind a horse like that. Well, you know what? Sure. I know the risks. I've been doing this for a long time. I totally understand that I could get kicked, and I am taking that risk, and I'm okay with it. There are basic rules that apply, you know, as far as how to properly go around horses and such when you're not sure how to be around them. Because maybe, you know, when people are starting out, they don't understand the risks. So yes, every kid that comes through my barn is taught exactly how they can go behind a horse safely. They're not allowed to just walk up behind a horse like that. Now, those who've been in my program for 10 years or so who understand the risks, rules are a little bit different for them. Yes, they can get kicked. Anybody can get kicked that goes behind a horse. But I'm not going to avoid walking behind my horse because I could potentially be kicked. I kind of know the signs to watch for. And I accept that risk. Yuck, she's gross. Okay, I just wanted to take the shedding blade over those two, but I'm not going to brush the rest of them. I'm just going to brush Petra's body and not worry about the other two. They're just going to be, I'll turn them loose in the arena after a little bit, let them move around, and I'll probably flag them after I get going on Petra for a little bit. I'll flag those two around, kind of like I did yesterday off of Cinnamon, but with Petra, I'll be a little bit more assertive. So yesterday with Cinnamon, Cinnamon isn't really comfortable with that yet. She's pretty new to stuff like that. That's not something that I do with her very often. So like I responded to one of the comments, you know, Cinnamon is not very high in the pecking order. So the other horses aren't really going to move away from her as well as they would from, you know, like if I'm on Nakona and moving them, horses are going to move away from her a little bit more. But in general, Cinnamon, she was a little bit worried yesterday. So I wasn't able to put the amount of energy that I wanted into it to get the other horses to move. So those of you who aren't watching, here's what was going on. I was on Cinnamon and I had a flag, and I had Nakona and Petra loose, and I was using the flag to kind of drive them around a little bit. And we were just doing a little bit of trotting. I wasn't asking them to really do a whole lot, but they were genuinely very like, we don't want to move. I would have loved to have used my flag and given each of them a pretty solid tap on the butt when they let me get close enough, because they need to move away, okay, and not just sit there and do nothing. But it was in my best interest, Cinnamon's best interest, for me to just kind of let it be nice and easy and slow like that, because Cinnamon was thinking, oh, I need to hurry and go faster. And I didn't want it to be confusing or stressful for her. I want her to just be like, no, we're just following these guys around, and that's it. So, but yeah, to make a long story short, that's kind of what I was looking for, is I just wanted Cinnamon to get comfortable with it. Now, if I were on Nika, what Nika will do is if there's horses that I'm trying to flag around and they're really not moving, Nika will actually pin her ears at them and be like, guys, you need to hustle up because she's serious. And so she does a lot of the work for me, and that's super cool. Where Cinnamon was just kind of in survival mode herself. She's like, I'm not comfortable with this, and I don't know how to deal with it, so I had to cater to her a little bit more. So, and I'll do more videos. If you guys are interested, I'll do more videos on that kind of stuff and sort of explain how the horses are handling it and all that, and why I'm doing certain things. But today I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just ride like I did yesterday and maybe talk about it a little bit. she was kind of being a stinker for some kids both times. She was just a little bit on the frisky side, so I got on her to kind of work those things out. But that's the only times I've ridden her. She's got big snarls in her mane and stuff. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not here to impress anybody by our looks. So I am merely going to get to the riding part. A little bit of groundwork with her, but that's it. I wait for her to relax. Hi, kitty. Hello, Jackson. Hi. Excuse me, you can't be underneath the hoof. Okay, Petra needs to be trimmed. Okay, I see BWM, you're saying my name. Say my name, say my name. What can I say? Oh, darn it. Darn cats. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about Petra for a moment, if you guys can hear me okay. I do have Diego at my barn. Diego is not mine. He belongs to one of my students named Carly. And okay, BWM, thanks for clarifying. Carly owns Diego, but Danny, the horse girl, she has a channel on YouTube, and Danny leases Diego. So you'll see a lot of videos about Diego if you go over to that channel. So sorry, I'm having to hold the phone because the cat keeps grabbing it. So I'm gonna get saddled up, but Petra, my gosh. Petra was born in 2011, so she's, what, 9 this year. I got her as a 4-year-old. I saw a picture of her on Facebook. A friend of mine was advertising her for sale for somebody she knew. And I just kind of really liked the look of her and had to have her. So I had just sold a horse named Dakaho to my friend Danny, and kind of, saw Petra and thought, man, she'd probably be a great lesson horse. So she just looked really quiet, and I bought her sight unseen. I just sent my mom. My mom was going to the town where the horse was at, and so I sent her with my check and the horse trailer, and she brought her home for me. Kitty, stop it. So Petra was my personal horse for 4 years, and then just this past June, so almost a year ago, I added Petra to my lesson program because she has a disease called PSSM. It's like a game. How many times can I throw the cat off the table? She has a disease called PSSM. It's a genetic muscle disease, and it stands for polysaccharide storage myopathy. And so she has a really hard time if she isn't on the right diet or getting enough exercise. And I wasn't able to commit enough time to her to ride her, to give her the exercise she needed. So becoming a lesson horse was ideal. And she's really quiet and easy for other people to ride. So it was just really a perfect fit. So I haven't spent much time riding her at all in the last year because she's been focused on doing lessons. So, and she's been really, really great at that. But she has picked up a lot of bad habits. That's always the hardest thing. My gosh. That's always the hardest thing when I change a horse over from being a personal horse to being in my lesson program, is all of the bad habits that they pick up. It's just crazy, and it's what happens, and it gets better though. So at first, Petra had a lot of really weird habits, like all of a sudden she learned to just randomly turn left in one spot in the arena. It was very, they're so needy. So she picked up a lot of really weird habits, but she got over them. You know, she's doing really, really good now. And it was just a matter of making sure that I put more experienced riders on her and that sort of thing. So I have kind of a method as to how I introduce horses into my lesson program. And I see the cat sitting on my saddle there. She's taking up the whole seat. It's a 15.5-inch seat, and that cat is taking up almost the whole thing. Hi, Jackson. Can I please, like, set this down and saddle my horse? Okay, giving it my best here. So since Petra has PSSM, she can never be bred, because it's genetic. Now, if you want to know more about, thank you, I love my saddle. It is a McCall Lady Wade, and I absolutely love it. It fits a large majority of my horses, depending on how I pad it. And a friend of mine had the same saddle, so I was able to try it out before I committed to ordering one, and then I did all the customized stuff for it, so it was pretty awesome. So with the PSSM, somebody's asking, PSSM, it affects her, it's kind of like, I would kind of compare it to being diabetic. We have to be very careful on sugars. Exercise is incredibly helpful for her. The more she exercises, the better she is. And sorry, that was my first warning that my phone is getting low battery, so I gotta plug it in. But, so she'll also do what's called tying up, and it would be best to just Google what tying up is. But basically her muscles will kind of like all sort of like clench up, and she can't move, and they just tremble and sweat, and it's very hard to watch a horse tie up. So she can never be bred, because I would never wish that disease on any horse. Oh my gosh, stop it. So I'm gonna try to get, yeah. Poor cat is like, somebody just love me. I need love. He's been so deprived. Everybody's, ouch. Okay. Ouch. Stop. Oh, this cat is ridiculous. And he's like 15 pounds. He's huge. Kid. All right. So if you want to see a little bit more detailed video about me saddling this particular horse with this saddle, if you go into my playlist, I think it's titled Handling Horses. It's probably also in my camps, clinics, and lessons playlist, but there's a video on how I saddle up a horse western. I'm due to make another one of those soon too. Now that I can edit, well, I gotta learn how to use the editing software on my computer now, but I'll be able to start cranking out some videos much easier, because I'll be a lot more efficient, and I'll be able to use a much nicer camera than my phone, which I do have. So I got a lot of learning to do though. I'm not exactly techie, as most of you know if you've been watching me for any length of time here. So when I decided to to switch Petra over to being a lesson horse, I was just to the point where I started riding her in the hackamore, and that's kind of the next step up from the snaffle that I use. So thanks BWM for telling people that. That's really good to know. So I started her in the hackamore just before I stopped riding her myself, but that's a more advanced, it's a more advanced bridle, and I wasn't comfortable putting students in that because you always go back to the most basic if you're going down in any manner. So I needed to make sure that my students were riding her in a snaffle bit. So since this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna hold the damn cat. Since I'm riding her today and I haven't ridden her in so long, I am not going to, I'm not gonna ride her in the hackamore. I'm gonna ride her in a snaffle bit because I need to go back to the most basic stuff. So yeah, like what I've said before is I always start my horses in a halter and then I move them up into a snaffle bit and keep them in a snaffle until I feel like they graduate up into the hackamore or boselle, however you want to call it. It's not a mechanical hackamore. There's a huge difference between rawhide and mechanical. So needy. Look at the size of this cat's paws. He is just huge. My gosh. Okay, yeah, I'm not giving him clearly enough attention. Now I like to put my bridle on my saddle because it just gives it a good place for it to be while I'm getting organized. And you notice I'm using the same bridle today. Oh, somebody just super chatted. I gotta take a look at that. You notice I'm using the same bridle today that I used on both Cinnamon and Blossom. I use the same tack for everything, and it just works out better for me that way. All right, let's get organized here. So let's see who super chatted. I gotta look. Let's see, who was that? Lucy, thank you so much. Yeah, the cat is crazy. All right. Yeah, I have BWM, I have horsehair Makati too. I love it. Mine was made by Sarah Hagel. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but oh my gosh, she does an amazing job. And I saved a bunch of, well, I saved Miss Kitty's entire mane, saving horse's mane. The one that I bought it because I thought it was really cool looking. But I think it'll be so neat to have a Makati made out of all of my horse's hair. It'll just add so much more character to it, and I'll think about them every time I ride. So I think that's gonna be really cool. And I saved Poco's mane too, my gelding Poco that died 8 years ago now. I have all that, so I can add that into it too, and it'll be pretty cool. And I have lots of colorful horses, so, and I can do that, you know, before I lose them, I can do that. So anytime, you know, I want to just cut a little chunk off to save, I can just keep saving it and setting it aside to have a Makati made. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to lose you a little bit here, I'm sure. Let me get my horse untied. Now, I do use these blocker tie rings. I've showed you these before. They have their place. There's times that I don't like them. Oh, BWM, that's super cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome when you can make your own stuff. It's really great because, I mean, the more handy you can be, gosh, the better off you are. Okay. So now, do I put you guys in the same spot as yesterday or move you? Do we want to go somewhere different or do we want to stay where we were? Seemed to work out okay. The sun is shining today, so it might affect the view a little bit. We'll see. Okay, what bit am I using? I am using, this is just a very simple sweet iron snaffle bit, and it's got snakes on it. So I am going to upgrade to a Jeremiah Watt butt snaffle bit, because those are like the sweetest snaffle bits ever. That or, well, I would love a Tom Balding, but those are a little bit out of my price range. Those are super sweet, so come on. All right. So now if you notice, Petra requires a little bit more like go forward than say Blossom. Blossom is just right with me all the time, 100%. She's super cool about that. And Cinnamon is a little bit too forward, so Cinnamon always wants to like go beyond you. Same with when you're riding her, she always wants to kind of run through your hands sort of deal. So back to the Tom Balding spurs or bits. I was in Sheridan years ago staying at a friend's ranch, and I got to go and tour. I met Tom Balding and I toured the facility, and I'm like, I didn't know then, it was in 2005 or 2006. I didn't know then what I know now, and if I were to get that opportunity to go again now, it would be a totally different experience for me. But oh my gosh, it was so cool. Really, really cool stuff. But so yeah, you guys are gonna see me with Petra today being a little bit more, kind of have to get after her a little bit because she, you know, she just is a little bit heavier. Awesome, so cool that you're near Sheridan, that's great. All right, let's go here. I am hoping I might go to Sheridan. Well, we'll see how the summer goes, but my friend Katie and I were trying to plan a trip to Sheridan. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but we were hoping to go to Brannaman's colt starting in Sheridan. There. Can you see me okay? My friend Barb Gerbitz participates in the colt starting. If you haven't checked out Barb, she's not on YouTube. I'm trying to convince her, but she does have a website and she's on Facebook and stuff like that, so you can check her out on there. But oh my gosh, I would love to go and watch her start colts because she's amazing. Okay. You know, I feel like this is gonna fall off here. Yeah, BWM, you should email me in chat. Okay. My email's in the video description. Okay. So with Petra, I'm just going to move her around a little bit and then hop on her. I really don't want gloves. It's kind of hot. I'll use a flag while I do my groundwork today. You guys can kind of see the difference. all worried about it. She doesn't need to speed up. She's thinking, oh, I better hurry. She does not need to speed up. I'm not worried about it if she does. Expression changes, the noise goes away. Roll her behind, in the front. Roll behind. I'll step her back a little bit. More, sweetheart. She's got a little brace coming forward. That was better. I like doing this exercise. I'll do something more detailed on it so you can actually see, but her right front leg, I'm going to get it to swing in the air. Like that. You see how she kind of, as she was going back, she picked it up, moved it forward before it touched the ground. Kind of hard to see from where you're at. That's what I do to work on getting rid of that brace. That's all I'm really concerned about doing today. Not much. Come on. She's like, oh, you're gonna make me stand by the wall. It's scary there. So she's one of the ones that was in here yesterday when they were hobbled. And got scared because a little bit of wind blew. And I was reading the comments and oh gosh, what did somebody say? Something about the horses not being able to get away because they were afraid. And so they didn't like the fact that the horses were hobbled. And my thoughts on that, I'm like, what if they're tied? You don't want them to get away either. So I think a lot of people just, they just don't get it. There's no reason why these horses need to be spooking at wind blowing the door. Sure, it may startle them, but for them to overreact and like take off because there's a little bit of wind, the way I look at it is get over it. You know, they don't need to be all worried about that kind of stuff. Right here, you see how she doesn't really give as good as like Blossom would. She's learned to brace a lot. That's one thing that's so hard about taking a horse that you've put 4 years of riding into and turning it into a lesson horse is super hard. Super hard because I look at that as being all of my work. Even here, like head back down. I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on the halter knot to say, get your head down. I don't ever want to, yeah, I'll explain the halter coming off. Right now I'm just gonna work on this horse not bracing against me when I want her head to come down. There, and she just kind of pushed it down, sort of begrudgingly. There, that was better. So I gotta work on that with her. Again, I put my reins either over my arm, over my shoulder. I don't feel like I'm in a manner where I can get tangled up if she should panic, but I don't typically like to put the reins over the horse's neck. I like my horses to bridle low because I have a lot of kids that ride my horses. They have to be able to do it, you know. I don't want my horses' heads high when we're bridling. And one of the worst ways to bridle a horse, in my opinion, and I'm giving you my opinion from my personal experiences, I see people bridle horses like this and put it in. Well, you work with enough beginners and horses learn real quick that all they have to do is lift their head up and they are gone. That's a great way to teach a horse bad habits. So I don't care what discipline it is. I do not bridle my horses that way. I always ask them to bring their head down to me. I like my bridle to be where there's a little bit of flop here. I don't like to see wrinkles. I like my bit to fit right at the corner of the mouth. I don't like them to be smiley. And I think it depends on the horse. Some horses prefer their bit up a little tighter, some like it a little looser. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the nose band into her mouth, like so. And then the nose band comes under the bit and out her mouth. There. And I like my throat latch to be where I can put my hand in sideways. She's already jumping at the snow. There's like little tidbits of snow falling against the building and she's jumping. It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm never like, oh, the poor horsey is scared of something. No, it's snow falling against the building. You've been listening to it for 4 years, 5 years. Get over it. And so I don't cater to that kind of crap. And what happens is when my horses are ridden by beginners, that's how they think. They're like, oh, you know, poor horse, we gotta let it just stop and think about it. No, forget about it, move on. Don't sit and dwell over it, because then they get more afraid. You know, it just reassures them that they should be afraid of it. So I'm not very, compassionate about that kind of stuff. My thoughts are, just buck up and do it. You're fine. Now, okay, oh, somebody said they like my reins. Thank you. These are a double diamond, and I love these reins. They're Double Diamond Halter Company. These ones, I think these ones might be a Buck Brannaman one, but I like them because they're thinner. I have small hands, and so they're thinner and they're really comfortable. So. Okay, anybody else have any questions before I get on? What I'm going to do is get on. I'm going to do a lot of walking. You'll see me try and enter her today, but I'm not going to do a lot. I have to kind of do it by feel. Do I teach all my horses to move towards me when mounting? Somebody asked. Absolutely. Every single horse I ever touch, I have them step over to me on the mounting block. Now, because of the location of the camera, I'm just getting on right here from the ground, but I will do more videos showing you how I teach my horse to step over to me when getting on, because I think that's super important. One of the most dangerous things is for you to go get on your horse and your horse to off on you, especially if you're on a mounting block. So it's, thanks BWM, see you later. It's really important to me. So I think it's good. And if you do the right groundwork, you can prepare your horse for that super easily, but I think it's a good thing to do. So with her though, with the PSSM, I'll see how she feels today since she's not been exercised in a while. So if she feels like she's really stiff, I'll do more walking and more jogging and stuff. If she's feeling really good and wanting to move out, or if she's spooky and being a goofball, I'll be like, you need to move your butt, and we'll do a little bit harder stuff. But for her, she needs a really good cool down. That's the biggest thing with this PSSM is a good warm up and a good cool down. And she's usually really, really good. So, but she hasn't had a month off of work in a really long time. Do I start my beginner students out bareback? Absolutely. It's so good. It depends on the person. There's some people that I will not put bareback because I don't feel like they're going to stay on. But yeah, for the most part, I do start kids. Kids almost always start out bareback. Adults, I typically put them in a saddle because a lot of them, beginners, adults, are not comfortable being bareback. But I do like everybody to ride bareback at some point because I think it's extremely good for your balance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hop on. I'm going to put my Makati. I run it up through my belt. You guys can kind of see that's what I do with it, and I kind of let it hang. I never let this get short to where it could go in there and kind of lock it like a key. Depending on the size of my horse, sometimes I pull this all the way through my belt, and it just slips right out. I have been bucked off with it on there, and it does come out. So, but that's just how and then I've got this, I kind of tap them on the butt if I need to or whatever, and it's just handy to have that lead rope. So I like Makati reins for a lot of reasons, but I do ride in other kinds of reins as well. Did you guys hear me grunt? I wish I could have music. That'd make things a lot easier. Okay, and then I just take my Makati and my lead there and I loop it up over my horn. funny. So, but I'll just kind of do some shoulder, some arm rolls. I call these pinwheels. Now, I don't like when she puts her nose all the way down to the ground. That's not what I'm asking her to do. I'm not asking her to do anything with her head right now. She can do whatever she wants. I could really use a spur on her right now because she is ignoring my leg. So I did pick up a dressage whip in case I need to reinforce my leg. and tail swishing is, we talked yesterday about the mental stress that Cinnamon gets and how she chomps at the bit. This horse right now, she's protesting my leg. She's not moving over. She's thinking, no, I need to go forward. Leg means forward. No, one leg means move over. Two legs means go forward. So I'm having to take a hold of her more than I want to because she's trying to speed up. I just simply need her to move her butt over for me when I ask her to. So I hold until she moves over and then she gets a release. So, but like I said, I haven't ridden her in a long time and she's had a lot of kids ride her. So she's thinking, no, I only go forward. That's all I do now. So this is just be a little bit of a harder workout than she's used to because she's having to use her whole body instead of just plod along however she feels like. But she's not, you can see she's not puffing very hard. Sure, this is a little bit of a physical workout for her, but it's more mental. Leg on her and she'd push on me. you know how like when you go to work or to school or whatever, and there are those people who they just really put everything into what they're doing, and they really take a lot of pride in their work and they try their hardest. And then there's those people who they do what they're supposed to do, but they're not going to give you any more. That's her. And then there's those who, you know, you ask them to do something, or they've got a job or something, and they'll do it, but they'll flip you the bird on their way out, kind of deal. So I look at it as like there's three types of work ethic, and those are the three. And it's just really fun to work with somebody who has a strong work ethic. And same with horses. There's the horses that have really good work ethic. For me, super fun to ride. And that's something that's kind of part of them. And finding jobs that they enjoy too makes a big difference. But that's just something that they're also born with. So you can alter it to an extent, but you know, it is what it is. So for me, when it came time to decide, okay, do I keep riding her myself or do I turn her into a lesson horse? You know, my students aren't going to ask of her nearly what I am. You know, I want my horse to be soft and supple, and we work together as a partnership. And a lot of times it's kind of like you're sort of carrying her around and doing way more work than she is. So that's kind of how I look at it. It won't take me long to get her softened back up because she was pretty darn soft before I turned her into a lesson horse, and willing, very willing. But she's so used to just trotting. Tiny little kernel of snow fell against the building. She's so used to just trotting and cantering and just staying in a straight line and doing that stuff that when I ask her to move her haunches around or her front end around, it's a little hard for her. And she's like, I kind of just want to go straight. So I'm going to canter her the other direction now. Traveling to the right, she will typically pick up a wrong lead now that she's not kept in good balance. When a horse is allowed to just kind of do what they want, they go to the side that they favor. So she favors the left, so the left lead is more comfortable for her, so therefore the right lead kind of became a little bit of an issue. But again, that would only take me a few rides to get it so it's back to normal. So, all right, I'm going to go to the left, and then I'll talk to you guys for the cool down. get the other 2 horses. So these 2 were deciding that they couldn't be friends earlier. So I'm just going to walk around a little bit and pony Annabelle off of Petra. And the cool thing about this is when you got horses that don't particularly get along well, you can correct the behavior as you're working on it. So while I'm ponying around, if I notice any naughty behavior out of Annabelle or ugly behavior towards Petra, I can work her on the end of this rope. And if I notice anything from Petra geared towards Annabelle, I can work her with my legs, and it's really helpful to, help horses get along better and learn how to operate as a team here. So that's what I'm going to do just for a minute, and then I'm going to turn both of these guys loose and work them around with the flag. And in the cool down, I'll chat. And now I was talking about work ethic. Annabelle has fabulous work ethic. She is great. Okay, so you saw how nice and light she was and traveled up real good. I really didn't have to do anything. She stopped with me. She's happy to be doing the job. She had no problems with that whatsoever. I'm going to do the same thing with Nakona. Nakona's work ethic is not as stellar. It's taken me a lot of work to get Nakona to soften up. Nakona's a lovely horse, but it's just who she is, you know. She's just like, nah, I'd rather just sit on the couch and eat potato chips, because that's the type of horse she is. It's a terrible place to roll, Annabelle. Why would you roll right there? So be aware, because if she lands underneath Nakona's gonna have a fit. You should not be right there. Not smart. That was actually a lot better than I expected her to be with that. That's really great. She did good. She only pulled on me a couple times. Now, when I start working with Manzer a lot, this is what I'm going to do with him off of Nika. I'll ride Nika, I'll pony him, and just get him really good at leading up. I'm excited to do that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to turn her loose, and then I'll work him around with the flag. So this is a great way to get 3 horses worked. Going to go roll right away. See, this is where I want Petra to back up nice, but she's thinking that it's okay to hang on me. There, good girl. Close and personal. My goodness. Now, I'm going to take my flag and I'm just going to move these 2 around a little bit. You'll see a little difference from yesterday because I've done this quite a bit off Petra, so she knows what's going on, so I don't have to cater to her as much as I did to Cinnamon. But I do want to make sure that she's not going to go bonkers over this moving around, because remember when I was doing the groundwork with her, how she got a little worried about it. So I always want to check her out real good, make sure I can get down in her blind spots. Here we go. Okay. Now, I don't know if anybody really saw kind of what I was working on. It's hard because I'm out there kind of doing my own thing and just what I, have going on in my own brain. So I don't know if you saw anything that that you could tell what I was doing. But basically, I singled out Nocona because Annabelle was just happy to go along and do whatever, so I left her alone. So I singled out Nocona and worked on her just moving off. She did not want to go to the left at all, okay? So I finally got her to go to the left and canter. I left her alone. And then with the turnarounds, I don't know if you saw, she did a turn on the haunch, and she had a really nice one to the left, actually. I think it was the left. But then when I tried to get her to go right, she didn't want anything to do with that. And that's where she would kind of lower her head and kind of snake her neck at Petra. And so I was able to take my flag and shoo her along when she did that. So yeah, Petra's like, oh my gosh, that was like a real workout. So, but that's the kind of stuff I like to do with my horses. So the whole time, when I'm doing stuff like that, the whole time, I am using my legs and moving my horse over and getting them to go forward and stop and slow down and do all kinds of different things. Like it's an actual job instead of just meandering around and, make stuff up as you go. So I really love doing that kind of stuff. It keeps it interesting for me. And with that being said, though, I find all the issues too, okay? So I found that, when I would sit down and ask Petra to stop, she's like, oh, I'm just gonna keep going forward and run into the pressure on the reins. And she didn't turn for me as nice as I would like her to. So that kind of stuff is really fun for me because I can have a job and they have a job too. So I enjoy that kind of stuff. And I just got 3 horses worked in the amount of time to work one, and it was a lot more fun. And if you saw, Petra got a little frisky a couple times. She gets excited and then she wants to like hop around a little bit and be silly. So, all right, I'm gonna answer some questions here. So what can I answer for you while we're sitting here watching horses? I'm gonna let them roll. Petra's gonna want to roll for sure. So. Petra would make a great ranch horse. She really, and Annabelle too. They both just should have been born and raised on a ranch. Well, I mean, they should have been working cattle. That's what they would love to do. Going out and fixing fence and rounding up cows, that would be the best job for both of them. So, oh, I got at least one kid crying outside. Jason's out there with him though. Bodie had loose teeth. He's 3 loose teeth, and last night he was trying to climb over the gate to our kitchen because we keep the puppy in there. When I'm working, I'm in the kitchen and I got the puppy locked in with me. So Bodie tried to climb over the gate, hit his face on the. I asked him. I said, "Do you need help?" No, I got it. And then he whacked his face on the counter and knocked that front tooth even more, way more loose than it was. So he's been trying to get me to pull his tooth out all day, but it won't come, so maybe he just bumped it again. Kevin, you asked how many students I have. I've got about 250 kids that ride in my barn. That's just kids, and now adults, I've got quite a few adults too, but not nearly as many as I have. I have mostly kids in my barn, so not right now, of course, but so yeah, I have a lot of riders. So the kids really like to do this kind of stuff, and I like to have them do this kind of stuff because it teaches them. I've gone a lot of places and seen a lot of kids ride horses, and it's like when you throw something new at them, they can't handle it. So I like to have them doing all kinds of little jobs. Something that I would really like to add to my barn. I'll buy one of these one day. It's about $1,500. But someday I'm going to add it to my arena because it would be such a great, great tool. Is a mechanical cow. Oh, Kissy, thank you for watching. I appreciate you saying that. So, but with these mechanical cows is it's going up and down the fence, okay? So it's like a flag that hangs on this pulley system. And there's a rope with a pulley system, and it goes up and down the fence, and somebody can run it. It's you can actually run it yourself. It's got a little thing that goes on your wrist, and you can make it go back and forth, but it's cool because it's how you teach your horse to track a cow. And it's really fun. You know, we don't have cows. We're probably never going to have cows, but I really like cow type work, and I think it's really useful for a lot of things, but it just makes things way more interesting and really puts stuff that you do with your horse to a job. So I want one of those really bad. My students, I think, would love that. It would be awesome. So I'm going to pull Petra's tack off and let her roll. And what's nice too is, I don't know if you guys saw, as these horses were going around, there's a couple times where Nakona got a little crabby with Annabelle, or Annabelle got a little crabby with Petra, or whatever, and I was able to use my flag and just redirect them. Like, get going, guys, never mind. We got a job to do here. Hey, don't eat my wall. So I think that kind of stuff is really fun. Will Nakona try to get back at Petra later? No. No, that's not really how it works. They all had a job that they did together and everything went great. No, I like to take horses who, hi Lottie, how you doing today? I like to take horses who are like less confident horses. So Cinnamon even, this is perfect what I did with her yesterday. I need to do it more. But to take the less confident horses and drive the more confident horses around, because it helps kind of boost their self-esteem a little bit, I think. And so like taking Annabelle and driving Nakona around is a really good thing to do. Yep, Nakona is by herself right now. I just pulled her out the other day to get her away from the situation. And I'm going to keep her there for a little bit by herself because I can. She's so heavy right now. I really like when she's by herself because I can limit her intake of hay. So she just is like a Hoover vacuum when it comes to hay. And yeah, she's really, really hard to keep weight off of. So somebody asked, Petra is a quarter horse. So Petra's a quarter horse, and she's not registered. I did not get papers when I bought her. She could be registered, but it was kind of a pain in the butt to get the papers, and I'd asked for them a couple times, and I know I saw the sire and the dam, so I mean I know what her registry is, but since I can never breed her, since she is she has PSSM, I can never breed her. So I really don't care about her papers. It does nothing for me, and I don't plan to ever sell her. So because I'd be afraid of somebody wanting to breed her, and yeah, and I just don't care to sell her anyway. Somebody's asking me why Nakona has moved. If you go back and watch my video titled "Lesson Learned" from a few days ago, you'll see the whole story in there. But yeah, so I've thought about it for Petra as far as getting her papered, and I'm like, I didn't call the Quarter Horse Association to ask these questions yet, but from other experiences, it's expensive. The longer you wait to register a horse, the more expensive it is. But if anything, I would really like to get in touch with AQHA and just basically let them know about her having PSSM so they can, I don't know if there's anything that they do to put that on file, but Petra's sire and dam should never have been bred. I think it came from her dam. But yeah, it's terrible. I wouldn't wish the disease on any horse. It's awful. But she's doing really good. As long as you get their diet and their exercise all dialed in, it's really, really good. But I'm pretty confident in her routine and how it's been now that she has just the prettiest head. She's got such a pretty head. She really does like to have a job. I see that her work ethic is kind of crummy, but once she gets going and she's like, oh, okay, then she's good about it. Or after a few days of some work, Hi, baby. How you doing? How you doing? Good. I'm gonna get this saddle off. PSSM is polysaccharide storage myopathy. And it is a genetic muscle disease. Yeah, babe? You can have a Girl Scout cookie. You can have 2. I have Girl Scout cookies hidden in my tack room. So, sorry about that. So with, oh geez. Somebody just asked about her muscles. She's a quarter horse. Quarter horses are muscular. That's how it works. So it just depends on the breed and the horse. Breed who with a Frisian? Somebody's saying breed with a Frisian. Breed who with a Frisian? Petra can never be bred. She can never be bred. I would breed Nakona. I would breed her with a Frisian, but not anytime soon. I'm not in any kind of hurry to. Whoops, forgot to silent phone calls. My dad just tried to call me. So, all right, well, let me get this saddle off and let this horse roll. I know everybody always likes to see that part. Yep. You sure can. Go for it, dude. Hi, Annabelle. Hold on, I'll help you. Oh, you can have one there and you can have another one in the house. You got more in the house. Now, right there, Petra was kind of fighting with me about taking she wanted to throw her head up when I took the bit off. So I went ahead and kept a hold of that until she lowered her head for me. Please don't roll right there. That's a terrible place to roll. Go. Okay, here we go. So, the horses are all, they're like, what's next? They're like, we can all get along now. Well, maybe not. There's some ears. Welcome, Sandy. My herd welcomes you. It's a shame you guys couldn't be friendly. I wish my horses were more friendly. Annabelle is very muscular, yes. She really does have a lot of muscles. Annabelle is a pinto. So this one is Annabelle. And she's just a pinto. That's what color she is. I have no idea what kind of breeding she has. So quarter horses are not patchy like this. So that's, like Cinnamon is a registered paint. And paint is a breed, pinto is a color. So since we don't know what Annabelle is, we call her a pinto. And then Nakona is an Appaloosa, and Petra is a quarter horse. Now, since Petra doesn't have papers, or I didn't get her registered, if I ever wanted to show in a quarter horse show, which that's not my bag, I wouldn't be able to. She would need papers for that. So, but that's really the only reason I would ever need papers for that, or to breed her, which I will never do because she can't be bred because of the PSSM. Oh my gosh, you guys. Now this is my kind of way to spend a Friday night, surrounded by horses. The kids are close by. Kids are outside having fun. Husband is outside, I think now. He's been working 10 to 12 hour days, so it's been kind of a bit much. Well, hello. She's so cute. But, you know, things don't slow down on the farm. That's for sure. Okay, so tomorrow I am not going to be giving you a, I did not know that Petra had PSSM when I got her. No, unfortunately, I had her for about 6 months when I found out, and then I had her genetic testing. I had her DNA. I sent in a hair sample to a genetic testing lab to see what was going on. So, and I don't remember if it's the, I'll look it up. And yeah, she tied up really bad. We were on a trail ride and had a really hard time getting home. Okay, so, but I'll do a video on that one of these days. I'll dig out the information and really, really kind of give you all the full details on that and how it goes. Oh, it's funny. And Annabelle's getting into stuff. You know, if I bred Nakona to a Frisian, I have no idea what I would get. I have no idea. You just, with any appy, you just really don't know what you're going to get. It could come out pink with purple polka dots. So I will not be doing a live video Saturday or Sunday, but I am going to be editing and posting videos. So I'm going to do my best to get one edited later tonight so I can post it to you guys tomorrow. And I'm going to try out my new editing software and see if I can make it work, but I got a lot of learning to do, so we'll see how that goes. So I will see you Monday for sure for another live video, and thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great weekend. See you later.